Hey, what's up motivators? Taren here. This one today is for all of the brand new endurance athletes out there that are just getting into the sport or thinking about doing their first race. What we're going to go through are the 7 things that I think apply to absolutely any endurance athlete out there, whether they're training for just getting over the finish line or performing, whether they are looking at going for an Ironman race or just training for a local 5K, whether they're going for fun or seeing what they can possibly do with their physical limitations. We are going to go through the 7 things that I think are universal to every single endurance athlete out there to make it more enjoyable and perform better at the same time. My name is Taren Gazelle. In my 20s, I was overweight, unfulfilled, and couldn't even run to the end of the block. Over the following years, I found endurance sports, lost 65 pounds, won age groups, raced world championships, broke records, and trained and learned from some of the best athletes and coaches in the world. You too can use endurance sports to change your life and accomplish your fitness goals. You just need a system that's meant for us amateurs who want to be our best while feeling our strongest and healthiest. My company Motive offers that system, and I want to share some of the tips from it today. Welcome motivators, let's get you started on the right foot as an endurance athlete. These 7 things are going to go in order of what you need to nail down first and then what builds after that in sequential order. The first thing that I would say to any new endurance athlete thinking about doing their first race, or maybe you're trying to train for your first race, is believe that you can do it. And I know that this might sound a little bit like, all right, Taren, I didn't come here for a motivational speech. But I think that most people do need a motivational speech to believe in themselves. I think we all do need a little bit of a cheerleader sometimes to understand that we are capable of so much more than we think. And even if you think, you know what, hey, I can do that half marathon, it shouldn't be a problem. Well, push yourself into doing something that you're a little bit scared of and is a bit of a stretch. You're going to find that it's tremendously motivating. You're going to accomplish more than you thought, and it's going to build confidence in you when you actually do that thing that historically scared you. So whatever it is that you think might be a little bit doubtful, believe in yourself and try to accomplish that little bit of a scary goal, and that's where the growth as a person happens. The second thing to get nailed down is your nutrition. Nutrition is the fuel that lets us go out there and execute good workouts. It's the recovery juice that allows us to actually absorb all of those workouts. It was years before I nailed down my nutrition well. And I even thought that I had it nailed down when it was just figuring out, okay, well, I need to take a certain amount of calories during certain efforts. Well, there's a little bit more to that. You do need to have the right amount of calories for every single effort. We'll actually put a link in the description below to a nutrition calculator that will give you how many calories you should have in your training and your racing. And that's going to give you the basics of a good nutrition plan, but also timing when you take lots of carbs to hit really peak efforts, when you hold back on carbs to make sure that your body can adapt to burn fat as fuel and build a lot of endurance. We outline all of this in our book, Triathlon Nutrition Foundations. There will be a link in the description below to where you can get that. Or if you want to go to a video where we outline a full system on this, we'll link it over in a video over my shoulder at the end of this video, and it will also be in the description below. But getting that nutrition nailed down with how many calories you need and what types of macronutrients you should have in every single workout are going to allow you to get the most out of every single workout that you do so that you can perform well in the workout and get the right adaptation based on what the intention of each workout is. The third thing to understand as a new endurance athlete is that you really need to polarize your intensity. You should do probably about 70 to 80% of your total training at a very low intensity level. And I'm not talking an intensity level where you say like, oh yeah, it feels kind of easy. We're talking you should feel guilty and awkward about how easy it is, because this is going to build up the mitochondrial density in your muscles, the energy producers of your muscles. This is going to keep your stress levels low and allow you to easily build endurance because you'll be metabolically very fit. On the other end of things, about 20 to 30% of the time should be burn the house down really intense. what happens is most endurance athletes come into the sport and they quickly start training this middle gray zone that feels really good because it feels like you're doing a workout, but it's not really intense enough to make your body adapt, and it's not really low intensity enough to build a lot of mitochondrial density and endurance. So you just end up kind of slogging it out, putting in a bunch of hours, not really making yourself any better at the sport, and it's also not really improving your health outcomes. So polarize your training. Really intense or really low intensity. The fourth thing that I would say you need to nail down is if you have performance as the goal, have a physiological purpose for every single workout. If health and fun and enjoyment is the purpose of you taking up endurance sports, then just train with whatever ends up giving you the most jollies. Maybe it's Peloton, maybe it's going for a group ride with your friends, maybe it's a group run. Don't really stress a whole lot about it if all you're in it for is a good time. But if you're in it for actual performance, you want a physiological intention for every single workout. You want to know if the workout is to build mitochondrial density and endurance and metabolic function, be able to go longer. Is it to build race intensity? Is it to build comfort with that race intensity kind of pain? Is it to build VO2 max or neuromuscular power? Or is it just to allow your body to absorb the training that you did the day before and prepare for the few days that are coming up? Now, there's a lot that goes into this and understand the physiology and when you should rest and when you should push. Fortunately, we have an app for that. We'll talk about it at the end of the video. The fifth thing is to train with your friends more, but make sure that you all have the same intention. Training with your friends is excellent for pushing you. I remember when I was once doing a 5 times 1 kilometer workout in Lanzarote, and I was there doing some work with Lucy Charles Barkley and her husband Reese Barkley. And we were doing 5 times that 1K around a track. They were doing the intervals at about 3:05, 3:10 per kilometer, really fast. And I ended up knocking them out at 3:30 per kilometer. Never before or never since have I gone that fast. But the reason that I was able to go that fast is because I was with friends that made me push myself to be a little bit better. The flip side of that is that quite often you can end up going and training with friends and it becomes this pissing contest where everyone just goes a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster, and before you know it, you're doing a tempo effort, and that big low intensity zone that we talked about goes out the window. So I would really encourage you to train with friends as much as possible, but make sure that everyone is on the same page about when you're going to push hard and when it's a low intensity day where we all agree that we're all going to hold back. We are going by the slowest person dictating what low intensity is, not the fastest person. The sixth thing is to be wary of best methods. There are a lot of training methods out there that do definitely create performance enhancement, and they are going to result in you getting faster. But what I find is a lot of these best methods are fairly extreme to one end of the spectrum, and they don't allow for balance and long-term progression. What I see in the coaching industry is that there is a lot of best methods out there that create performance enhancement over the course of 3 to 6 months, but over the course of years, those performance enhancements really taper off, and there's a lot of beat up athletes out there. You're probably at this point, if you've done all of these methods, going to achieve 95, 98% of the performance that you could possibly achieve. But at this point, I would urge you to step back, and as opposed to thinking strictly about PBs and always racing longer and doing more, think about what you're going to have the most fun with. For about 9 years, I raced whatever I wanted to race, what I got most excited about, what I would find most fun, with good training methods, but having a lot of fun doing it. But then there was a year or two when this channel grew and I felt pressure to be the person out there that inspired everyone with better and better times, and I focused almost solely on PBs and building up and going longer. And that's when the fun got taken out of the sport for me, because it became work, it became a job. Probably my best race performance ever, a 4:28 half Ironman, wasn't a successful moment, a moment to celebrate, even though it was 6-8 minutes faster than my all-time previous personal best at the distance. It was, how much better could I have done? I could have gone 4 or 5 minutes faster had I done more. And it was more of a disappointment. So a lot of the fun got taken out of it because I was putting my self-worth on a time. And I would encourage you just to explore what you're most curious about, what you're most excited by. If that's going fast in sprint triathlons, don't feel the pressure to go and do Ironman triathlons. If you are historically a runner, but you really want to dabble in swimrun or cycling because it's fun to you, but you think that you might get a little bit slower in the field, but you're really excited by it, go for it. It doesn't matter what your time is. It matters, are you fulfilling yourself and are you challenging yourself with something that you're going to find exciting? Do this and you will have a very long, very successful, very performance-oriented, but also health-oriented and health-improving journey in your endurance sports. Believe in yourself, you can do it, you can have fun, and you will do it. And if you need any help along the way, let us know. We have a great app for that. Thank you for watching, Motivators. If you're looking for a training plan that incorporates these methods that is as good as a one-on-one coach but as inexpensive as doing it yourself, check out our Motive training app that covers triathlons, running races, duathlons, swim runs, and cycling events. There's a link in the description below where you can check out your customized training plan for free. Also, if you rather listen to these tips, we also publish these videos in podcast format on the Taren's Motive Method podcast, so you can check that out. And if you don't want to do either of those things, but you found this video helpful, hit us up with a virtual high five by smashing the like button below. Later, Motivators.